In this episode of Man vs. Marriage, it's open mic number 5. Moha-ha-ha-ha.
The podcast. How good do you want your life to be?
You gotta live on purpose, for a purpose.
It's truly about becoming the best version of yourself that's possible. This is Man vs. Marriage, the podcast.
And welcome back to another episode of Man vs. Marriage. We are so excited you showed up. It is me, the Q-Dog, and
Coach Rita.
Coach Rita in the house. Coach Rita, I just want to jump right into it.
Sure.
We're having a great discussion.
Yes.
That last episode, all about happiness or fulfillment. Which one are you and where does it come from?
Mm-hmm.
So we were just talking there, and you shared something with me that I feel like we need to really just jump on the mic and say when it comes to happiness. So if you could do the remix version of
Sure.
that and just share it with me, then we'll just dive right into it.
Okay.
And go.
Go. So I was just sharing with Quincy just something that I remembered that so many times we're not living in the present moment, like in the moment right here. I'm here with Quincy in the studio. I'm all in. I'm in this moment. I'm engaged. Where a lot of times our unhappiness is based on us not living in the moment because we're living in the past. We're living with, past failures, disappointments, a lot of negative emotions of what has happened to us. And we live there and we're bringing that in the present moment. Or some of us may be living in the future of the uncertainty, there's no stability. I wonder what's going to happen. There's like such an anxious part of that where we're living in the future where there's so many emotions on both ends and we're living this life of either in the past or in the future where we need to just gather ourselves and live in the moment.
Yeah.
If I live in the moment and recognize what's happening in the moment, I have the ability to find those moments that are bringing me fulfillment. That sitting here sharing and talking to the listeners and giving you some tools and some content, it's a fulfillment for me to give you hope. I'm living in the moment.
Yeah.
I'm not living on my past of what has happened and bringing that all into the current present. And a lot of times it's just stopping yourself and telling yourself, I need to be here in this moment and I need to recognize what's going on in this moment. Leave the past where it's at, leave the future where it's at. I'm going to live here. Does that?
Yeah. It's about where you're living.
Mm-hmm.
It's about where you're living.
You just have to ask yourself.
It's like wake up and live.
Mm-hmm.
Just wake up and live. And when you were saying that, I wrote something down. And this is not meant to be derogatory towards your past or your future, because it's a part of who you are.
Right.
But if it's where you're living, I wrote this down. It's like the past is robbing you.
Mm-hmm.
The future is stalling you.
Mm-hmm.
The present is a gift.
Yeah.
Live now.
Right.
You know what? There are things in your past that can benefit you. There are things in your future you want to know what course you're on.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's where you're living, if you're living in your past, you're absolutely stuck back there somewhere.
Right.
If you're living in your future, it's not possible for you to ever be happy because it's always going to be that someday type mentality.
Right.
So what happens is we're either being robbed or our life is on hold and we're not really living in the moment.
Right.
And we talk about being present in the moment, being all in where you are.
Right.
So I think you articulated that beautifully. Because like in episode 34, when we're talking about happiness or fulfillment, emotional intelligence is really a big deal, guys. It's a huge deal. Because if you haven't taken the time to dive in to this emotional intelligence what would you call it? Just journey, let's adventure,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. If you haven't taken the time to start that adventure, you are living somewhere in your past. I could say that with 98.25% certainty, because I'm sure there's those anomalies out there. But if you haven't taken the time to adventure through emotional intelligence to figure out why you're acting the way you are in certain circumstances, or why you can't do something, or why this person is disappointing you, or whatever the case might be, if you haven't taken that journey, then truly there are areas in your life where you were stuck as a kid. You're stuck way back there. Like for me in the movies, like we're talking about with Jeannie, I was stuck back at the 10-year-old in Alabama with I should just be happy with what I have because we were so poor. I was stuck there. I couldn't get beyond myself in certain areas of my life. So whether it was clothes for the kids, or going to the movies, or the Disneyland trip that we take the kids on, I was stuck back there.
Right.
And I had to go back and just take the chain off and allow myself in that emotional part of me to come to the present time and redefine who I wanted to be. I had to recreate that.
Right.
If you don't, if you're living in the past, like of how good you used to be, or how wrong somebody treated you, you're being robbed. You just are.
Right.
And if you're looking to the future that someday it's going to get better, someday I'm going to get this, I'll be happy when I'm rich, I'll be happy when I'm skinny, I'll be happy when this or that or another thing happens, your life is on hold.
And when it comes, you won't be.
You just won't be.
You'll just find something else, because it's an inner thing. It's such an inner thing. There's one thing that I know for sure is that you have 100% control of your thoughts.
Come on.
You.
Yes.
You.
Yes.
If you want control of anything, that's what you have control of. 100%. We might not, like what I tell people, we cannot control the circumstances. Sometimes life is life, things happen. What we can control is our attitude and our response to it.
Yes.
It's the only two things that we can control of it. And when things come our way and things happen, you have that opportunity in that moment to say, my attitude and my response is going to benefit me right now in how it is that I'm going to respond to this. Later down the road, it's gonna pay off. So if I'm going to respond to this in a negative, in a disempowering way, later down the road, this thing is going to show back up.
Yes, it will.
So you get to decide here and now the circumstances that are happening around you in this moment. You do not have control of. However, how you respond to it and your attitude towards it will pay you big time.
It sure will. And it'll just, the overflow of that, or the dividend on that, is the people around you.
Yes.
Because, I had a guy leave work that was there for a very long time. And when he left, I had to take over his responsibilities. I'm the boss. That's the way it goes.
Right.
And there's a certain mode that I get into when I'm doing this particular line of work, because everything is constantly changing. There's lots of demands.
Right.
Up above you, beside you, under you. There's just demands like crazy. So in the past, I just kind of had gotten into a certain frame of mind that, I won't say it's negative, but it's more, you're more problem focused there. So I was on the way home one day, just kind of searching my thoughts and really trying to figure out, why was I feeling this way again? And I said, you know what? Stop everything. Because that's just my thing.
Right.
My thing is stop everything so I can step out of the situation and look at it. I said, in this particular avenue, there are problems. And if I focus on them like problems, then that's all I'm going to be focused on. But if I look at every situation that comes up as an opportunity to create a solution, I've now turned it around to where I can rely on one of my strengths, one of my core strengths as a very creative person. So it's almost like I was able to shift my perspective and say, when something comes up in this situation, I'm built for this.
Right.
I'm made for this.
Right.
It's what I do. It's what has helped me achieve what I've achieved in my career so far. So I could have continued looking at it in a negative fashion or looking for it as an opportunity for me to grow and create. And I'm very creative. And that's what I would challenge each of you guys to do, is to look for opportunities in your life for that upgrade in mindset.
Right.
You know, because it's hard, though, when you don't take time to really get intentional about what you're thinking about. Because then you do get to that point where it's like, I don't know what's going on inside of me.
Right.
I need to stay busy so I don't have to feel anything. I need to stay busy or occupied so I don't have to address these things that will cause me so much like misery.
Right.
I just don't want to deal with it. I'm going to sweep it under the carpet. I'm going to lock it in the closet. And then it's like you get to a point where life screams so loud that you don't know who you are anymore.
Right.
Right? I mean, is that the right path that I'm walking down there?
Yeah, it's so true. We stuff so many things. It's sometimes I wonder, like, where did we learn to do that? Like, where did we learn all of a sudden to become so busy in life so we don't have to deal with life that's going on inside of us?
Yeah.
And I love what you said about getting a different perspective, because so many times it's all we need to do.
Yes.
We just need to have a different perspective on things. Have people speak to us to give us a different perspective. Look for something outside of what we normally think.
Yeah.
Broaden your horizon that way instead of always seeing it your way, because there are other ways.
Right.
Because you just have to say, what's the goal? Is the goal this? Then does it always have to be your way to get to the goal? Or can I look at it in a different perspective, in a different light? If you're mature enough, if you're healthy enough, if you're, you have that emotional intelligence to say, I'm intelligent enough to say, I need to get a different perspective.
Yeah.
Because how I'm doing it isn't working.
Right.
And I'm okay saying that. I'm okay with myself saying, let me get some outside voices. Let me have some people come to me and speak into my life in areas that I keep feeling like I'm just still pounding like at the same wall, and I can't get that breakthrough that I need. And that's what takes courage. That's what takes that's the thing that I look at in someone to say they're brave, because they're allowing themselves to admit that in this area, I need a different perspective.
Yeah.
I need to look at this a little bit different. And I'm willing to allow people to speak into my life because I want the best for me. And I think so many times people just do life by themselves because they are so prideful to admit or can't admit that they need help.
Yeah.
And then you get stuck.
Yeah.
And you stay in that same place and you're frustrated, you're unhappy, all the things that we're talking about. It's because you're just afraid to reach out and say, I don't got it all together.
Yeah.
And to admit that to yourself, it's like, I always say, well, who told you that?
Yeah.
Who told you that? I know so many times just sitting and coaching with people, just let them talk, and it's their inner dialogue talking.
Yes.
It's always their inner dialogue talking. And then there's just a point that they'll say something, and it's like, well, who told you that?
So true.
Who told you that? Who told you you weren't allowed to get help? Who told you that if you ask for help, that's a sign of weakness? Like you could make up the inner dialogue all day long, but what I want to know is who told you that? Because that's the thing that's reeling within you, and that's what's stopping you not to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. And you feel like what I said, you feel like you just keep hitting the same old wall and you can't get a breakthrough, is because someone fed you something. Someone said something to you that's stopping you.
Yes.
That you feel as though if you go outside of yourself to ask for help, it's almost like you're a failure. And to me, it's just having a different perspective and saying, that takes courage and that takes bravery to come to someone and say, I need your help in this part of my life because it seems as though that I'm lost for answers.
Yeah.
I mean, that takes a big person.
It really does.
To come and to acknowledge that and to say, there's a part of me that I need to get a little bit different insight.
Mm-hmm.
Most people would think I'm broken, I'm screwed up. I need help. It's that disempowering things that we say to ourselves, and instead of in those moments using it as an empowerment to you.
Yeah.
That I'm reaching out because I know I don't have all the answers, but I'm going to find somebody that does. And this day and age, oh my gosh, like it's at your fingertips.
It is.
It really is. There's no, like I've said it before and I'll keep saying it. It's like you can't play ignorance card anymore.
No.
Because there's so much information out there for us. And you could pick it in any kind of form you want.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so many people that do podcasts.
Right.
There's so many people on YouTube. You could just do it by your fingertips, whatever you're thinking, and so much information will pop up.
Yes.
And it could be to your liking. However, you might be listening to us and say, all right, they're just not my type. Great. Go find your type.
Go find
Figure
your
it
type.
out.
That's right.
Figure it out.
Absolutely. And you just make a great point there. And the whole foundation of this is just us wanting to be truthful about what we had to come to, the point we had to come to in our life.
Mm-hmm.
And I played football, I wrestled, I played baseball. I needed a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Because a coach has perspective, they have experience, they have a point of view that I don't have because they're outside of the situation. And look at all the coaching that you can truly get for free. You have to go with somebody who speaks to you,
right?
And also somebody who challenges you for you to say, "Oh, that's freaking bullcrap right there. That's bullcrap," because you've been limited by your own self-belief, right? But then you start to chew on it a minute.
Right.
And you go, okay, wait, why is that bullcrap? And then you got Coach Rita and Quincy talking to you about thinking about what you're thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
But you're at the point right now where it's like, I don't even know what's going on inside of me. So, I mean, it's like for some people, the voices are so many inside. The dialogue is so much. And then there's people who are just numb.
Yes.
And there's no voice, and they can't hear anything. So what is there to do about that? When it's like, I don't even know how to explain what's going on in me right now. I don't know. I don't know where I belong. I don't know how I fit. I don't even know who I am. I'm just being this guy that I created, and it's just another day, another day, another day. And what I hear you telling me and us, Coach, is that it just starts with taking responsibility to become something, to become someone. Is that right?
Yes, because it's 100% on you. It's 100% on you and how you think. And I know, like what you're saying, well, I don't know what I think. I don't know what I'm feeling. I don't know where I'm at. I feel lost. I feel, numb. I just pretty much hit autopilot, and that's how I go through life. We'll make the decision today.
Yes.
Not to be on autopilot.
Yeah.
Make the decision today that I'm going to engage these thoughts. You have it in you. It's just you're just choosing not to look at it. And it's all it's all in front of us. It's just, what are we choosing to look at? What are we choosing to say, okay, I'll own that. That I'll own for myself, because yes, that's what I do. Be aware of yourself. Be aware of your behaviors, because your behaviors it will just tell you where you're at.
Yeah.
So many of us just walk around life just being numb and just plain dumb that, yeah, whatever. Like, we just blow everything off. And it's like, get in the game. Like, get in the game of life. You just can't go through life thinking that you can just be on the sidelines and claiming that, well, I don't know how I feel. I don't know what I'm thinking.
This is just the way I've always been.
This is just me. I've been dealt this hand, or I've been given this cup. You name it, whatever you want, whatever excuse you want to do it. Just okay. But there has to come a day, and there has to come a time, especially you're listening to us. And this is the thing. If you're listening to us, there's something in you that wants to change, that wants more, that wants the better, that knows that there's possibilities and that there's hope. So it's not like I'm speaking to someone that doesn't want that. I believe that I am speaking to people that are looking for more. And it's your decision today, and it's your choice today to rise to the occasion and to show up.
Yes.
And to say that I'm willing to look at these things. I might not understand all of it, and I might not be able to put my finger on it, but I'm willing to engage it and open myself up to that.
Yes.
And it's a personal choice. It's a personal decision that you make. I can't make that for you. Quincy can't make that for you. It's telling you that if you do it, trust us.
Yes.
And we'll walk you through it. Because there is hope. There is brighter things on the other side. It doesn't have to be this way.
Right.
This isn't the end all.
Right.
There's so much more to life. There's so much more that we can walk you through to have that fulfillment. And where it starts in how you think.
Yes.
It starts in how you think, how you perceive things, where you see it. Are you living in the past, and that's where you're living, and that's what you bring in and day out of things that you've been wrong, things that have been done to you, instead of living in the moment of what's happening in the here and now.
Right.
Or, looking in your future and being anxious about it, and being there's an instability about it, and it's just like I wish I could think of the word uncertainty about it, and it's like this anxious kind of thing that's always running around in you. It's like be here, be in the here and now, and that's what's going to bring you happiness and fulfillment. But it starts with you. I cannot express that enough, that it starts with you, and it boils down to a choice. It's all about a choice.
So true.
That you get to make.
So true. And that is so eloquently put, that today can actually be that day where your life, like you put a pin in the calendar, you put a stake in the ground, and it's like, you know what? Today's the day that I'm never going to be the same. I'm just not. And you start really small, and you find those people that you can build trust with, that will help you transform your life, that will help teach you the tools, because you have the tools within you. What you need is to learn how to use them. Mm-hmm. And just when you were talking, and I was thinking, like in the last episode we talked about, and it's like, well, what came first? Did getting your health in order or transforming yourself as a person? I didn't realize the debt of gratitude that I have to a dear friend of mine named PJ Bowen. Mm-hmm. Because when I came to work with her, she's like probably the best trainer I have ever met.
And a very cool person.
She's such a neat person.
Yeah.
She called the athlete in me to come back to life. She called the competitor in me to come back to life and taught me what it means to be great again.
She knew your language.
She did. And I've thanked her for everything she's done, but she is so instrumental. She gave you a great athlete to work with, Rita.
Mm-hmm.
She really did. Because it was through those times, those really hard, challenging, physical times, the commitment I made to my eating habits and how she taught me that it's like, just do. Just do. She's really the catalyst that helped me see that all this is possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what, guys need in their life. Somebody to revive that conqueror within them, to say, no, this really is possible.
Right.
It really is. It really can be your reality if it's what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And we can help you get there. We can help revive that person that had hopes and had dreams and had expectations of what life could truly be.
Mm-hmm.
We can help you. We've been helped to get there.
Right.
And a lot of people with podcasts have been helped to get there.
That's why they're doing it.
That's why they're doing it. That's what inspired us to do this, because our life has been changed by people we've never met face to face.
Yep.
Because they were willing to share their journey. And hey, when they're wrong or when they don't know, they're okay with saying, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And they're okay with saying, here's where I struggle. And that's all I've ever wanted to do that I can remember, is just help people realize you're better than you thought you were.
Right.
And it's weird that I say that, because right now you're the only one thinking that you're not good enough.
Exactly.
Like you said, who told you that? You're the only one thinking that I can't change. Who told you that?
Who told you that?
You're the only one thinking that, yeah, it works for other people, but it won't work for me. Who told you that? And now you got these two people here saying, no, this is what you can do if you're just willing to put it out there. Worst case scenario, you waste all your time and nothing changes. Best case scenario, you haven't wasted your time. You've begun to invest in who you are as a man, as a husband, as a father, as a brother, as an employee, as a freaking human in this world that can positively impact other people.
Right.
And your life starts to change. And you get on a winning streak. And you just buy in. And you change your life. And you inspire the people around you to do the same. And you motivate them to do the same thing. And then we, as a group of people, it just starts to reach outward.
Mm-hmm.
And people can realize that I don't have to make other people responsible for my happiness. I actually get to decide what I want in this life.
Exactly.
And then I get to walk it out. Because I truly believe that whoever you are, you were created for great things. Really are. Like, created on purpose. Created for a reason and in this time. What did you tell us? It was like scientists got together and it was like a 1 in 4. I think it's 1 in 4 billion. It's a 1 in 4 billion chance that you were born, and you were born at the time you were born. Look at those odds, and you won. You won.
You're here.
You're here. So no matter what life has brought to you to this point, now it's time for you to put your flag in the ground, become Gandalf the Grey, and say, thus far and no more. I'm moving forward.
Right.
So you don't know what's going on inside of you. Take responsibility now to start to figure it out one step at a time. And let us know how we can help you.
Yes.
Because I'm telling you, there's people who believed in us enough to get on a podcast for people they didn't even know, to put out there and encourage us to go for it. And we've done it. And we're looking at that same success to be birthed in you. Fair enough?
That's good.
We're going to pause it right there.
Yep.
So, hey, reach out to us. Let us know what's happening, what's going on, what's going down. What's kicking, chicken? What's the deal, pickle? We need to know. Let us help you. And the best way you can do that is reach out to us on email. Let us know how this episode helped you, what you want to challenge, or just how it spoke to you. Come on and email us at coach@manvsmarriagepodcast.com. That's coach@man, V like victory, S like success, marriagepodcast.com. Check us out on Facebook at MVSM Podcast. That is the Man versus Marriage universe. So check it out there. That's where you can connect with myself and Coach Rita, and we can live out loud. Let's do this together. You are absolutely better than you thought you could be, and we're going to help you get there. Until next time, roll tide.
Yep.
The podcast.
How good do you want your life to be?
It's truly about becoming the best version of yourself that's possible.
This is Man versus Marriage.
The podcast.